We do have an amended agenda, so the amended agenda is in front of you, and everybody got a copy of it, and the media were notified. They added number 5 that's on your agenda. So I'd ask for motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Alderman Nicholson. Oh, do we have these on?
Yes.
There are. Okay. Motion by Alderman Nicholson, second by Alderman Vanalis to approve the amended agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. First item is discussion and action on a request by the Green Bay Fire Department to install an emergency siren at Bay Beach Amusement Park.
Excuse me, did you approve the minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't approve the minutes.
So moved.
Move to approve. Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Weary to approve the minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are, okay. Then number 1, discussion and action on a request by the Green Bay Fire Department to install an emergency siren at Bay Beach Park. Chief, you want to,
No,
or Donnie?
Yeah, then I'll
Okay.
bring them. The fire department, of course, approached us and about putting in another siren, emergency siren at Bay Beach Park. They felt there was a large gap in the Bay Beach area for notification in the event of tornadoes or emergencies. A similar request, as you know, came to us just recently for Red Smith Park, where we worked with them to put in a siren in that area. The staff is recommending installing this siren on the far west side. You have a map here that we gave you so you can see the location. One of the reasons is that it needs to go as far west as possible is the wildlife sanctuary. We can't have that siren on the east side because it'll affect the animals. So we're going to propose that we put it on the far west side. The siren would sit on top of a 50-foot tall wooden post. The fire department has already purchased the siren, and a contractor will install it. We have contacted NWTC with the fire department, and they have agreed to donate their services to put the pole in for us. If approved, the siren would be installed yet this year, hopefully, if we can get the project done. And the chief is here if you have any other questions.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Chief, this is, I know when we talked about sirens a year or so ago at Improvement Services, there were some that had a 1 mile radius and some that had a 2 mile. Is this a 2 mile?
It is.
Okay.
These are the current maps. You can just take one and pass it down. You know, in our analysis, at looking at our coverage for outdoor warning sirens throughout the city, we identified there's about 4 or 5 areas that have a fairly substantial gap. We have attacked the first 2, or the highest priority, I guess I would say, locations because of the number of people, citizens, visitors that are in both these areas. So Red Smith went first. This is the second one, and then I'll probably be bringing a request forward in next year's budget and then in the 18 budget to do the 3rd and 4th area. As you can see by this, the current sirens that are out there, if you look at this map, you've got the inner red beam, which is the highest, that's the largest sounding area, and you got the yellow and the green. The current siren is located, puts Bay Beach in the outer edge of that green area, and actually when you go out and just stand and listen, when we have the tests, the siren that's currently there is barely audible, and certainly if you're engaged in activities at Bay Beach, riding a roller coaster, having fun, doing the things that they do out there, you're certainly not going to hear it because you're not paying attention to it. So we identified as this being a high-risk area, and certainly one that we want to correct as soon as possible. This will still cover the wildlife sanctuary. It's just not within the red band, which will be the loudest band. The red band probably puts it at about 90 decibels in that red band, and then as you go out, it goes to 80 and then 70, just to give you kind of how it kind of layers itself down. We also feel that this obviously covers the marina now. We didn't have real good coverage down at the marina where we have a lot of fishing tournaments and things that go on down there, and the boat, the metro launch, and all of that. So we think this is a good location to work with parks to identify something that would be out of their way, not visually ugly, I guess, so to speak, out of the way, and something that will not impinge anything on the future plans of the park.
How is it actually controlled? I was going to ask that question.
All the sirens are controlled. Once we purchase the siren, what happens at that point, we still own the siren, but all maintenance is then picked up by the county. So they do the maintenance on all of the sirens that are installed in the city. I think this will be the 18th one that we'll have. They are controlled and activated at the Brown County Dispatch Center. So there are a set of criteria that has to be in place before we can activate it. So if we get, for instance, 55-mile-an-hour straight line winds where it's causing damage, and we're monitoring, our friends to the west and the southwest, that's where most bad weather approaches from, 90% of it. If we hear that there's 55-mile-an-hour winds and damaging projectiles where somebody that's outside could be hurt, we'll activate the siren. If we get a tornado warning, as we did about a month ago at 3 o'clock in the morning, the National Weather Service picked it up on Doppler radar. They saw the hook designation on the radar, and because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, people are sleeping, they wanted to get the warning out as soon as they can. So it gets activated at that point. So tornado warning where there's actually something sighted, where a weather spotter, trained weather spotter sees it. If the National Weather Service sees the so-called hook in the signature in the red patterns on radar, and then 55-mile-an-hour straight line winds with damaging projectiles. Those are the 3 criteria really that are used to set the sirens off. And then the other thing that the committee should be aware of is that all sirens in the entire county go off. So essentially, if we could have something that happened south of Denmark, let's say 10 miles south of Denmark at the very south end of the county, our sirens are still going to activate.
Do I remember correctly, the cost was around $30,000?
We actually, the reason we're able to do the second one was that we got, through a lot of work with Dan and with Public Works, Steve Renier was able to get the poles donated from WPS. Dan was able to get the poles sunk by the students at NWTC, their technical program out there, so that was free. So it freed up a lot of money for us, so we're able to actually do, the one at Red Smith is about just at $19,000 with the install. This one will be right about the same price.
Okay.
I've got some extra money in the emergency fund, so to speak, to pick up that extra $4,000.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Second?
Andy, seconded by Alderman Weary. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me?
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that all the maintenance is the responsibility of the county, that all the costs of the response for installation by the Green Bay Fire Department, and all proper permits and insurance are being obtained.
Okay, so that's acceptable. We'll add that to the motion and that was approved. Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, second item, discussion and action on a request by Ben West and Aurora Bay Care to hold a Green Bay Duathlon at Bay Beach Amusement Park on Saturday, October 15th, 2016, from 7:30 to 11 a.m. And I think you got a map on it.
Yes, if you refer to the 2 maps that were passed out, did you pass those out?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see the race route. Mr. West is here, and I'll have him talk in a few minutes, but they're expecting about 200 to 300 participants. This event has been held for the previous 3 years at Aurora, and this year they would like to bring it out to Bay Beach. 20-mile bike ride and 2 to 3 miles of running is the event. The bike route portion would follow the Nicolay Drive from Bendersville to Bay Beach. The run course road will follow a short route from Bay Beach Road to Quincy. It circles back and ends back up in the Bay Beach parking lot. Aurora would be using only the south end parking lot in the park for start, finish, transition, and medical area. The group is working with the special event committee to complete their special event requirements. The group would not be selling anything, just giving away water and snacks to their participants. No alcohol will be served at this event. All entrance fees go to Dual Tri Charities, a bona fide 501c3 group. The organizer would be responsible for all rental fees and cleanup costs, and that's what I have.
Okay. Did you want to address the committee? Okay, I'll have to entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Okay, Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Could you give your name and address for the record?
My name is Ben West. I'm out of Appleton. She pretty much said everything. This
Okay.
is actually the 9th year of the event. We had it in different locations from Lambeau, then we moved it out to Aurora. I have been in contact with the police and with the sheriff's department, just kind of working on the best route possible,
Mhm.
least impact to the people that live in that neighborhood. So.
Looks good to me. Any
Yeah.
questions?
Motion to return to regular order of business.
Okay. A motion to return to regular order of business, seconded by Alderman Weary. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Motion-
Contingent on what
okay,
Donnie says.
Contingent on,
Okay, final approval of the special event permit, all proper insurances and permits being obtained. All fees, charges, security, garbage disposal, cleanup, traffic control, and barricades are the responsibility of the event organizer. Alcohol beverages may not be served, sold, or given away at this event. Food, beverage, and merchandise may be given away but not sold on Bay Beach property.
Okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest to approve. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you are approved, and good luck to you.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Ben.
much. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. Okay, number 3 is discussion and action on a request to seek an appraisal for 529 St. George Street, parcel 7-667, and begin property acquisition negotiations. This is one of those...
Yes, if you refer to this large map here, the property that I'm going to talk about is the property that's in pink. And in 2015, the Parks Department bonded to purchase 2 properties along the East River Trail. 529 St. George is one of those properties. The Planning Department recently met with the owners, and they are willing and indicated their desire to sell right now. At this point, we are only requesting permission to seek an appraisal to begin negotiations with this owner. When we have the true cost, we'll bring those back to the Park Committee for approval. So when we have these type of situations, what do we do with the Park Committee? We bring them into you and say, are you okay with this, before we go ahead with the approvals? Or appraisals, I mean.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest to approve. Any questions? Okay, if not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I guess there's really no question on that because it's in line with our East River Trail expansion. Okay, number 4 is discussion and action on a request to amend and approve DNR stewardship grant by removing the purchase of 535 St. George Street, parcel 7-666 from the grant scope, and authorize staff to sell a portion of the property to the redevelopment authority. What's going on?
All right, so if you look at the same map, this will kind of clarify things for this item also. But on April 15th of 2015, the Park Committee approved accepting a DNR stewardship grant to purchase several properties along the East River. I highlighted those properties in blue on the map. So those properties included parcel 7-666, which is 535 St. George Street, and then partial acquisitions of some of the parking lot on Main Street. And the city recently purchased 535 St. George Street, which is parcel 7-666, which is the white house that you see a photograph of. And we're still in negotiations with the property owner for the partial acquisition along Main Street. When we purchased the property at 535 St. George Street, the Park Committee approved it with the understanding that the Parks Department would be responsible for half of the acquisition cost and the DNR would fund the other half. So the total acquisition cost was $85,000 to purchase the property and $1,100 for the appraisal, which meant the Parks Department would be responsible to pay $43,050, with the DNR paying the other $43,050. After that property was purchased, the planning department did walk through the property and toured it to see if there was anything that could be salvaged out of the house. And they indicated their desire to keep the house, possibly fix it up and then sell it to keep it back on the tax roll. Now, of all the properties that we purchased along this stretch, this is the only property where that would be deemed feasible, where there's enough room in the backyard where we could actually route the trail through it. All of the other properties, the houses are either very close proximity to the future trail, or the buildings were actually in the way of the trail. So this is the only one that it is feasible to do that. At the time of the acquisition, the owner was only interested in selling the entire parcel. So they weren't open to selling the city a portion of it. And per the DNR requirements, if we were to keep this entire parcel in the grant, it would have to become open space. So you cannot leave a building on there if we use DNR money to purchase it. So we purchased it, but we haven't asked for reimbursement from the DNR yet. The planning department is looking to seek approval from the park committee and the RDA to secure $43,050 to purchase the house from the parks department, which is, as I indicated before, that's the same amount the DNR would have paid the parks department if we were to keep it in the grant. We're in support of this request, first of all, because the Parks Department wouldn't be out any additional money. We agreed to pay $43,000 initially. And secondly, there'd be a significant cost to the city in the future because we wouldn't have to demo the house out, which typically costs anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 in demolition. We don't have to demo it, we can save that cost. And in addition, that house would then stay on the tax roll. So down the line, the city would see a benefit for that also. That being said, if we propose to the DNR to take that property off of the grant, we would prefer to propose an alternate property to add to the grant so that the city wouldn't be out any grant dollars in addition to that. Plus, the DNR wouldn't be out any funding either because they have to, if we don't use it for the grant, they have to turn it over and it's lost to the DNR also. So what we're proposing to do is to make a recommendation to the DNR to add parcel 7-667 to the grant and to remove parcel 7-666 away from the grant. So basically just switch properties. As we previously stated in the last agenda item, the city council approved bonding parcel 7-667 in full in 2015. So now if we do get that grant approved, the city would actually see a savings of $43,000 in the acquisition of that parcel. So, and that savings could then go towards either demolition costs of the other East River Trail properties or future trail development. This suggested modification was reviewed with staff from the DNR, and tentatively they are open to it as a suggestion, but they would need a formal proposal and recommendation from us in order to take it through their committees for a formal recommendation.
How deep is the lot and how much will be retained for the house and how much will be for the trail?
I don't have a measurement offhand, but I would say the lot is probably about 75 feet to 100 feet deep. It kind of goes on an angle, so at the short end it's probably 75, on the long end it'd be 100. We would probably keep maybe 50 feet of green space in there is what we try to do, but I haven't measured it out, but it will easily fit back there.
Okay.
And there'd be plenty of room so that the house is not on top of the trail. That being said, anybody who purchases the house from the RDA would know that there's a trail going in and they would want the trail in their backyard, otherwise they're not going to buy the property. So this hasn't gone to RDA yet for approval. That would go probably next month if this is approved at Park Committee. So this is just kind of initial discussions. And
Okay. Could we hear from Cheryl a little bit about what RDA's plans are? Is it going to be a single family or?
Well, it currently is a single family, and we went through it, like Dan had said, for thinking we'd salvage, and we went, well, we want to salvage the whole thing, because it's really not that bad of a house. I mean, it would need, you know, flooring, some kitchen upgrades, but trust me, we've been in worse properties than this one that we've saved. So we just said, look, well, let's save this one, there's enough room for a garage in the back. We would purchase this with block grant dollars, we'd make the repairs, we'd add the garage, and we'd just sell it, so it'd be owner occupied. And it would stay on the tax roll.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
Any questions on it?
It sounds like a good proposal. Is the home vacant right now?
Yes, it is.
How long's it been vacant?
Just recently, I think the
Right
tenants
before
moved
we
out.
purchased it, the tenants moved out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like a nice property, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's right at the end of Elm Street there, so,
Mhm.
you know, probably would fit in quite well with the neighborhood. So, any questions? Andy?
No?
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the request. Do you have some?
Yeah, it would be contingent upon the RDA approving funding to pay the Parks Department $48,050 towards the partial purchase of 531 St. George Street, parcel 7666. The DNR approving the grant modification to remove 535 St. George Street, parcel 766 from the grant scope and adding 529 St. George Street, parcel 7667 instead. Staff successfully negotiating the purchase of the 529 St. George Street, parcel 7667.
Okay.
Motion to approve with
It was motion by Alderman Weary, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good, motion carries. Take care of that item. That's
Thanks,
good.
Cheryl.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Have a good evening. Which brings us number 5, discussion and action on approval to submit a grant application for the 2016 to 17 Wisconsin RPC's W.DNR EAB Impact Mitigation Grant.
Okay.
Okay, tell us what it's about.
Sorry we had to add this at the last minute, but when we realized when the deadline was, we knew we had to get it on this park committee agenda. This grant is for funding tree planting efforts in response to the removal of all our EAB trees. Forestry is requesting approval to apply for a $25,000 grant. It's going to be a planting grant project. $20,000 in grant funds, $5,000 in matching funds in-kind services. So what we would do to make up for the $5,000 is we would use the in-kind service from the planting and plotting of the trees done by our crew. So that's how we would do it. So we don't have to come up with $5,000, we would have to come up with the in-kind services. This project would provide approximately 160 trees to help replace over 250 that were removed this year. And that's what we're trying to do with this. So we're trying to get it approved, to approve the grant so that we can move ahead and apply for it.
Do you know where you're planting the trees?
Brian's here.
Trees will be planted all throughout the city where we're removing, so
Okay.
most of the ash removals that we did this year, they're still kind of in that main core of the city, so, you know, furthest west would be like Oneida Street, Ridge Road on the west side, and about Dan's Avenue on the east
Is
side.
it pretty much terrace trees or park trees? as
Street
well?
trees, terrace trees.
Okay, terrace trees, okay. Any questions?
That sounds like a good proposal to replace what's being, in other words, we need to
Yep.
replant.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as the grant program is available, we may as well apply and hopefully get some.
Yeah, save us a little money
Yeah.
for purchasing.
Okay.
Any questions?
Go get it.
Okay,
Motion approved.
motion by Alderman Weary, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest to approve the grant application. Are there contingencies?
Nope, we're good on this one.
Okay, all in
Thank you.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Which brings us to the director's report, Dawn.
Okay, I'm going to have James take the first section.
Okay.
We have an intern here that we would just like to introduce, and she's learning some of the ropes here, so we brought her to the park committee. James?
Right, yes, my name is James, from the Parks Department, as you guys know, but I'd like to just introduce Amy Marotic real quick. She's going to college to get a bachelor's degree. She's going to graduate in December, with a Parks, Recreation, and Leisure Services degree. So she fits right in here. You know, we got a good intern this year. We interviewed her back in March, I think. It was, yeah, but yeah, we had actually the most applications we've ever had for interns this year. We had about 8 people trying to get an internship this summer for us, and we chose Amy out of those 8. And she decided, I can let her say this, I guess. I can let you talk about yourself, but she's just been really helping out a lot this summer. Very involved with the Fit in the Parks, the health and wellness initiatives that we've been doing. She can talk about a few of the events that she's actually came up with and she's actually organizing and running herself. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
That's great. Come on forward.
So like James said, I've helped out with a lot of just different things. I got some experience with the playgrounds and pools, and just kind of all over the board too, which has been really great. At this point right now, I'm in the process of planning a candlelight yoga class that will be held at the end of August. So that'll be at Bay Beach. And then as well as now a 5K in October called the Haunted Chase Race, which is kind of just spun and been just built on different ideas within our department. It's been really exciting, and I've never done anything like this before, never planned an event, and it's been a great experience, and I'm really looking forward to being able to put all of this experience on my resume.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. That sounds good. And thank you for coming to our meeting.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
Artie Wolf sports contract, the grading and the seating of the final last 2 soccer fields, yay, it's been like a 10-year project, is nearly completed.
Wow.
The rough grading, drain, and topsoil placement is completed. The concession stand donors, as you know, we have a donor group that's building that concession stand for it, have lined up volunteers to replace the masonry walls and the roof. We hope to begin that project soon. At Bay Beach, the Falling Star site construction is well on its way. If you've been out to the beach, you noticed that. The retaining walls, reinforcement concrete slabs, stormwater, the infrastructure, the underground electric, and concrete walks have now been installed. So the contractor is currently replacing the topsoil as we speak. Coburn Pool. Yesterday, we received 75% of the plans. So we could start looking at that and see where we end up. The remaining 25%, the deadline was September 16th. So we're going to push them and hope we can get them sooner, obviously, but that was the plan.
Tomorrow too soon?
Yeah, tomorrow's a little soon,
All right.
but A Street, this past Saturday, we completed our new playground equipment there. So on Saturday, they held a celebration opening, which was sponsored by Thrive It and the 9th Street Church there. It was really a nice event, and the kids were so excited with their new playground, so it was cool. At Navarino Park, Leadership Green Bay has completed the fundraising necessary to install the seating area and drinking fountain. The contractor will begin excavation, concrete flat work within the next few days. Sullivan Walk should begin next week.
Great.
Volunteers from Nielsen Solution and the Green Bay Botanical Garden installed annuals at the Veterans Memorial Park for us. In the last week of July, the Kitty Carnival and Parade was a huge success. We attracted a really nice crowd. We had over 2,800 people that attended that event. We sold 126,000 tickets, % tickets for the games. So that was cool. The Parks RX program set a goal of reaching 1 million minutes of physical activity in the summer playground this year. We are happy to say that we will well exceed that limit. So kids are out there and being very active. Our Glow Zuma event had over 400 participants. Our Lego event had over 100 competitors, and we had over 3,500 people that attended that event. The summer playground program, believe it or not, is ending this Friday. We're finishing our 10-week season. It doesn't seem like it should be that soon, but it is. Joanne's and Coburn Pool closed Sunday, August 21st, and Rush closes on the 25th. Our new accessible fishing net is now completed and installed at the Wildlife Sanctuary. If you're riding by there, take a look. It's really nice. It's very, very nice. You'll see the old one next to it because we haven't pulled it out yet, but it'll give you a nice comparison of what they look like. This year, starting in August, the Wildlife Sanctuary will be celebrating its 80th anniversary. Events that will be planned throughout the next 3 months to actually help celebrate that. And that concludes my report.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Okay, any questions?
I'm just gonna ask Dawn about the parks where they serve the, like the lunch at noon. How did that go over this? In other words, we had that grant that,
For the last, it's been probably 14, 15 years, we work with the federal government through the Green Bay Board of Ed. And we work with them, and through their center, their food center, they produce the lunches. Throughout our playground program in the summer, we'll serve over 100,000 lunches throughout the whole 10-week program.
How many parks do you survey at?
36, James?
31 out of 36 parks.
Yeah.
Alderman Van Nuys, were you talking about the Arby's grant?
yeah, I wondered how that one went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic,
Oh,
actually. And actually, last week when the Arby's staff was there, the owner of the Arby's, I think he owns like 36 Arby's locations. He actually came back and was extremely pleased with what was going on in the park. There's a lot of kids there always, so it went over very well.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion to approve the director's report, seconded by Alderman Weary. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's all the business to come before our committee tonight.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
That was there.
Yeah.
Got it down. Good to
What did
me.
he say?